In a distant galaxy, far beyond human stars, dragons were not stories. They were real. They were powerful, and they were used as weapons. Every empire wanted dragons in their army. A single dragon could destroy ships, burn cities, and win wars in minutes. Because of this, dragons were treated like treasure. They were trained from birth, raised to fight, raised to obey, raised to kill. Inside a massive space station, hidden in deep space, there was a special place called the hatchery. This was where dragon eggs were kept safe until they hatched. The hatchery was always loud. Newborn dragons cried, workers shouted orders, machines hummed day and night. But one day, something went wrong. One egg hatched later than the others. When it finally cracked open, a small baby dragon came out. It was different, very different. It did not roar like the others. It did not move with strength. Its body was smaller, its wings were weak, and its eyes did not work. The baby dragon blinked again and again, but it saw nothing, no light, no shapes, only darkness. At first, the trainers did not understand. They watched closely. They tested it. They moved their hands in front of its face. Nothing, no reaction. One of them frowned. It cannot see. Another shook his head. That's impossible. Dragons are never born blind. But the truth was clear. This dragon was broken. The baby dragon tried to stand. Its legs shook. It took one small step forward and hit the wall. It fell to the ground with a soft cry. The sound was weak, painful, not like the strong cries of other dragons. The workers looked at each other. Some felt uncomfortable, but most felt annoyed. This one is useless. It will never survive training. It cannot even walk properly. The baby dragon tried again. Slowly, it moved forward. It stretched its wings, trying to feel the space around it. But again, it hit something. It stumbled. It fell harder this time. Its small body shook as it let out another broken cry. Still, no one helped. The other baby dragons were already being taken away. Strong ones were selected first. They were trained to fly, to breathe fire, to follow commands. But this one was left behind. Days passed. The hatchery became quieter. Most of the eggs were gone. Most of the dragons had been moved. Only a few workers came now, and they didn't stay long. The blind dragon was alone. Sometimes food was thrown near it. Sometimes it wasn't. The dragon had to search for it blindly. It walked slowly, carefully, its nose close to the ground, trying to smell the food. Many times it failed. It walked in the wrong direction. It hit walls again, fell again, cried again. No one listened. No one cared. Even the other young dragons, still waiting for training, stayed away from it. Animals can feel weakness, and in this place, weakness meant nothing. One night, the station lights dimmed. Everything became cold and silent. The baby dragon curled into a corner, hungry, tired, alone. Its small body trembled. It made soft sounds, calling for something it didn't understand. Maybe its mother, maybe anyone, but no one came. Time passed slowly, too slowly. The dragon stopped moving as much. It had less energy now. Its cries became softer, weaker, like it was slowly giving up. Then, one day, something changed. The main door of the hatchery opened. Footsteps echoed inside. But these footsteps were different. They were not loud, not rushed. They were calm, slow. A human had entered the facility.
Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy. Most of the workers were from other species. Humans were not known for strength or power. They were known for something else: curiosity. The human wore a simple uniform, no armor, no weapons, just tools hanging from his belt. He walked through the hatchery, looking around quietly. He was not here to train dragons. He was here to study them, to understand them. But as he walked deeper inside, he stopped. He heard something, a small sound, very soft, almost impossible to notice, a cry, weak, broken. The human turned his head. He listened carefully. There it was again, another soft cry, coming from the far corner. Most people would ignore it. Most people had ignored it, but not him. The human slowly walked towards the sound, step by step, careful, quiet. The baby dragon heard the footsteps. It froze. Its body became still. It could not see who was coming. It did not know if it was danger or pain or nothing. It had learned something in its short life. When something comes close, it usually hurts. The footsteps stopped, very close now. The human looked down, and what he saw made him go silent. A small dragon, thin, weak, covered in small injuries, its wings slightly torn, its body shaking, and its eyes empty, not focused, not seeing. The baby dragon tried to move away, but it hit the wall again. It let out a soft cry. The human's expression changed, not anger, not disgust, something else, something rare in that place: kindness. He slowly knelt down. He did not move too fast. He did not want to scare it. The dragon could feel him now, a presence, close, but different, not cold like the others, not harsh, warm. The human spoke softly. "It's okay." His voice was calm, gentle. "I'm not going to hurt you." The dragon didn't understand the words, but it felt the tone. For the first time in its life, it did not feel fear. The human slowly reached out his hand. He paused for a moment, then gently placed it near the dragon, not touching yet, giving it time. The dragon sniffed the air. Its body was still shaking, but slowly, very slowly, it moved its head closer. The human did not pull away. He stayed still, patient. Finally, the dragon touched his hand, just a small touch, but everything changed in that moment, because for the first time in its life, someone had come closer and did not walk away. The dragon didn't know what this feeling was, but it held on to it. Warmth. And far away in the silent hatchery, for the first time in many days, the crying stopped.
The human knelt beside the dragon. Slowly, carefully, he spoke. "It's okay. I'm here." His voice was soft, calm, very different from the loud and harsh voices the dragon had heard before. The baby dragon froze. Its small body shook. It tried to crawl backward, away from the sound, but it didn't know where to go. It moved too fast and hit the wall again. A dull sound echoed in the empty hatchery. The dragon cried softly, a weak, broken sound. The human's face tightened. He didn't step back. He didn't get angry. He stayed. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said again, even softer this time. The dragon didn't understand the words, but it could feel something. The human's voice did not carry fear or anger. It carried something warm, something safe. The human slowly sat down on the cold metal floor, not too close, not too far. He gave the dragon space, time. He waited. Minutes passed. The dragon stopped moving. Its breathing slowly calmed down, but it stayed alert, listening. The human reached into his bag.
He took out a small container of food, fresh, warm, not like the dry pieces that were thrown at the dragon before. He placed the food gently on the ground, close enough for the dragon to smell it, but not so close that it would panic. The smell reached the dragon. Its nose moved, slowly, carefully. It turned its head toward the scent. It hesitated. Its body was still weak, still unsure, but hunger was stronger than fear. The dragon took one small step, then another. Its legs shook. It almost fell again, but it didn't. It kept going. The human stayed still, watching, waiting. The dragon reached the food. It lowered its head and began to eat. Slowly at first, then faster, like it hadn't eaten properly in days, because it hadn't. The human let out a quiet breath, relief. He didn't interrupt. He didn't move. He just stayed there, making sure the dragon felt safe. After eating, the dragon stepped back. Its body looked a little stronger now, a little more alive. The human smiled slightly. "Good," he whispered. That was the first moment, the first small step, but it was enough. The next day the human returned, and the day after that, and the day after that. He kept coming back, every single day. He brought food, better food. He made sure the dragon ate properly. He cleaned the area around it. He removed sharp objects so the dragon wouldn't hurt itself again. Then one day, he saw something that made him stop. The dragon had a wound on its side, deep, old, untreated. It must have happened when it kept crashing into walls, or maybe when someone pushed it away. The human moved closer, slowly. The dragon noticed. Its body tensed again. Fear returned for a moment, but then it recognized the presence, the same calm feeling, the same warmth. It didn't move away this time. The human gently reached out. He cleaned the wound carefully. The dragon flinched, but it didn't attack, didn't run. It trusted him. That was new. That was important. Days turned into a routine. The human would come, feed the dragon, talk to it, clean its wounds, sit beside it, sometimes for hours. He would speak softly, about random things, about stars, about space, about nothing at all. The dragon didn't understand the words, but it listened. It learned his voice. It followed the sound when he moved. Slowly, it stopped being afraid. But not everyone was happy. Other workers started noticing. They watched from a distance and laughed. One of them shook his head. "You're wasting your time." Another smirked. "It's broken. It will die anyway." The human didn't reply. He didn't argue. He didn't even look at them. He just continued his work. One worker stepped closer one day. "Why do you care so much?" he asked. "It's just a failed dragon." The human looked at the small creature beside him. The dragon was resting now, peaceful, for the first time. Then he spoke quietly. "It's not a failure." The worker laughed. "It can't see, it can't fight. That's failure." The human shook his head. "No, that's just damage." The worker rolled his eyes and walked away, but the human's mind stayed on that word, damage, not failure. There was a difference, a big one. That night, the human didn't go back to his room. He stayed in his lab, looking at data, reading scans, studying dragon biology, especially their eyes. He replayed everything he had seen, the way the dragon reacted, the way its eyes moved. Something didn't match, something didn't feel right. So he ran a scan, a deep one, detailed, careful. The results appeared on the screen. He stared at them, long and silent. Then his eyes widened slightly. "Wait." He zoomed in, checked again and again. Then he leaned back slowly. The dragon was not completely blind. The damage was there, yes, but the core system of the eye was still active, still alive. Signals were weak, distorted, but not gone. That meant one thing. The dragon didn't need new eyes. It needed help to use the ones it already had. The human's heart started beating faster. Hope, real hope. Small, but real. He stood up, walked back and forth, thinking, planning, calculating. "This can work," he whispered. Then he stopped, looked at the screen again, then smiled for the first time. "I can fix this." The next morning, he returned to the hatchery. The dragon heard him. He reacted immediately, not with fear, but with recognition. It moved toward him, slowly, following his steps. The human knelt down again. The dragon came closer, this time without hesitation. It gently touched his arm. The human placed his hand on its head, softly, carefully. The dragon didn't pull away. Instead, it leaned into his touch. Trust. It had grown, without words, without force, just patience. The human looked at the dragon's closed, damaged eyes and spoke quietly. "I'm going to help you see." The dragon didn't understand the words, but it stayed close because it believed something simple. This human would not leave. And that night, the human made his final decision. No matter what others said, no matter how impossible it seemed, he would fix the dragon, no matter what it took.
The human had always been curious, but now he was determined. He stared at the small dragon resting in the corner of the hatchery. Its eyes were damaged, almost useless, but he could feel something deep inside, a spark that said this dragon could see, if only he could find a way. He left the hatchery that night and went straight to his workshop. The workshop was filled with strange machines, glowing panels, and tools of all shapes. Most people who walked in would call it chaotic, but he knew every wire, every circuit, every piece of alien technology inside. He paced around the room. He had to think carefully. "Glasses," he whispered. "It's the only way." The idea was impossible. Glasses for a dragon? Nobody had ever done it before. How could he make something that would fit the dragon's unique eyes? How could he make lenses that could correct the damage inside? But the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. If he could design lenses that could amplify the weak signals in the dragon's eyes, it might work. Maybe, just maybe, the dragon could see again. He pulled out a small holographic display. On it were designs for human glasses, alien vision enhancers, and complex optical circuits. He combined them. He erased them. He tried again. He failed more times than he could count. Hours passed. The human didn't notice. He barely slept. He barely ate. His mind was consumed by the dragon, the problem, the impossible solution. Meanwhile, the dragon watched from a distance. It stayed in the corner of the hatchery, quiet, curious. It had learned to trust the human, not fully, but enough to follow his voice. Whenever it heard him working, it would crawl slowly toward him, tilt its head, and watch him move. The workers laughed when they saw him. "Glasses for a dragon?" one said. "This is madness," another scoffed. But the human didn't answer. He never did. Words were useless here. Action mattered, and he was going to try. Days became nights, and nights became long sequences of testing and adjusting. Tiny sparks flew from machines, wires hummed, screens blinked in a blue glow. Each time he tried, he learned something new. Each failure brought him closer to success. Sometimes the dragon would get impatient. It would nudge the door or tap its claws on the metal floor. It seemed to say, "Are you ready yet?" The human smiled at it once. "Soon," he whispered, "very soon." Finally, after what felt like weeks, the glasses were ready.
They were unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The frame was flexible, made from a rare metal that could expand as the dragon's face grew. The lenses were filled with alien crystal compounds that could bend light in impossible ways. Tiny circuits lined the glasses, designed to interact with the dragon's optic nerves. Every detail had been thought of, every calculation double-checked. The human took a deep breath. He walked toward the hatchery. The dragon noticed immediately. It perked up, tilted its head, and crawled slowly toward him. Its wings twitched slightly in anticipation. The human knelt down. The dragon sniffed him, uncertain, but it did not move away. It had learned that he would not hurt it. He held the glasses carefully. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from hope. "Ready?" he whispered. The dragon cocked its head. It did not understand the word, but it felt the tone. Calm, encouraging, safe. Gently, carefully, the human placed the glasses on the dragon's face. For a moment, nothing happened. The dragon blinked. Its body stayed stiff. Its wings trembled slightly. Its tiny claws dug into the floor. The human held his breath. Time seemed to stretch. Seconds turned into minutes. The workers who had been watching from afar stopped laughing. They held their breath too. Then something miraculous happened. The dragon's eyes moved. At first, just a twitch, a small adjustment, then another. It blinked again, slowly, carefully, and then it gasped. No, it didn't gasp. It cried out in a long, high-pitched sound that carried throughout the hatchery. Light, shapes, shadows, colors. The dragon could see them. For the first time in its life. Its body shook with excitement. Its wings fluttered uncontrollably. It stepped back, then forward, then spun around. Every movement was new. Every sound had a shape. Every shadow had meaning. The human's heart pounded in his chest. He had done it. Against all odds, against all ridicule, he had done it. The dragon looked at him, truly looked at him. For the first time, it could see the human's face, the soft eyes, the kind expression, the gentle smile. It made a small, choked sound, almost like a laugh. The human reached out his hand. The dragon leaned forward. It nudged his arm with its snout, tentatively at first, then with more confidence. It was bonding, truly bonding. The workers could not believe their eyes. It shouldn't be possible," one muttered. "It's a miracle," another whispered. But the human didn't care about their words. He only cared about the dragon. It stepped back and looked around. The hatchery, the walls, the corners, all new. Every detail mattered. It lifted a wing and flapped experimentally. It could see its own body moving. It could see its claws, its tail, its scales. It could see everything for the first time. Its joy was infectious. The human knelt and whispered, "It's okay. You can see now. You're safe." The dragon chirped, a sound full of wonder. It moved around him in circles, testing its sight, testing its new world. Every small object was fascinating. Every light beam was new. Every shadow held a secret. He watched it carefully. Every movement, every expression, he memorized it all. He felt proud, not just because he had succeeded, but because this creature, abandoned by everyone, had a chance at life now. The dragon finally settled near him again. Its eyes shone with curiosity and trust. The human gently patted its head. "You did it," he whispered. "You can see. You're alive, and you're going to be strong." The dragon chirped a sound full of wonder. It flapped its wings slowly, as if to say thank you. The human smiled. This was the moment he had been waiting for. The impossible had become reality. But deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. The dragon could see, yes, but it was still young, still weak, still untrained, and the galaxy would not forgive weakness easily. He looked at the dragon, his small, miraculous friend, and whispered, "We'll face it together. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." The dragon nudged him again, almost as if it understood, and at that moment, in the quiet hatchery lit by soft alien lights, man and dragon shared a connection stronger than words. The impossible had been achieved, but the real adventure was only beginning.
The dragon's eyes opened wide. For the first time in its life, it saw light, real light, not the dull, shadowed shapes it had felt with its body, not the blurry, frightening walls it had stumbled into. Real light, warm, bright, alive. It blinked again, then again. Shapes formed around it, lines, curves, colors. The metal floor of the hatchery reflected faint lights. The walls were no longer just obstacles. It could see corners, doors, and machines. Even the tiny cracks in the floor that had hurt its claws before were visible now. Movement caught its attention, a figure kneeling in front of it, a human. It stared, really stared. For the first time in its life, the dragon could see another being, not as a shadow, not as a sound, not as something to fear, but clearly, a human, calm, gentle, patient, kind. The dragon's body shook, its tail swished, its wings trembled with excitement and disbelief. It took a hesitant step forward, then another. Its legs, once weak and unsure, carried it steadily. Its claws barely made a sound on the metal floor. It looked at the human's face, and for the first time it made a connection, a memory, not a memory of sight, but of safety, trust, care. The dragon let out a cry, not of pain, not of fear, but a loud, soaring cry of joy. It echoed through the hatchery, bouncing off the metal walls. The human froze for a moment, his hand still extended. Then a small smile appeared. "It's okay, you can see now," he whispered. The sound of that cry startled everyone else in the facility. Workers paused, machines whirred, the air seemed to hold its breath. "What's happening?" shouted one worker. A group of trainers and soldiers rushed toward the hatchery. Their faces were tense, unsure, confused. When they saw the dragon standing upright, strong, alert, fully aware, they stopped in shock. It was the dragon they had written off, the useless one, the blind, weak, broken creature no one cared about. And now it was alive, it was alert, it was perfect. The dragon spread its wings. Slowly at first, it flexed them, feeling the muscles, the air. Then a second flap, stronger, faster. And then, without hesitation, it leaped into the air. The hatchery shook as its wings caught the wind perfectly. It was flying, naturally, effortlessly, like it had always been meant to. The human's eyes widened and his breath caught. He watched in awe, holding his hands near his chest, not daring to move. Other humans and workers in the facility couldn't believe it. It shouldn't be possible," one shouted. "It was supposed to be weak," another yelled. The dragon circled above the human, flapping with joy. It hovered a moment, then landed smoothly back on the floor beside him. It turned its head and looked directly at him. Recognition, gratitude, trust, love. The human knelt again. He extended a hand slowly. The dragon nudged him gently with its snout. Then it curled slightly around him, like a protective guardian. The workers stared in disbelief. Some whispered, some gasped. A few shook their heads, unable to process what had just happened. Commanders entered the hatchery then, their voices loud and demanding. "This dragon belongs to the Empire," one barked. "You will hand it over immediately," another ordered.
Soldiers moved closer, trying to assert control, but the dragon did not react with aggression. It did not flee. Instead, it positioned itself firmly beside the human, wings slightly spread, claws gripping the floor. It was clear this dragon had chosen its protector, not the empire, not the soldiers, not the rules. It had chosen the human. The commanders' faces twisted in anger. How could a human, weaker and smaller than any of them, command the loyalty of a dragon? The dragon let out another cry, louder this time, a warning, a statement, a signal that it would not be taken away. The human stood slowly, placing a protective hand gently on the dragon's head. His voice was calm, but full of authority. "It stays with me," he said. Silence fell over the hatchery. The soldiers hesitated. The commanders glared. No one moved. The dragon's eyes, once blind and helpless, now shone with intelligence. It understood. It understood the threat. It understood loyalty. It understood choice. The human crouched next to the dragon, looking around at the stunned group of people. His calm presence and quiet confidence were a strange contrast to the chaos around him. "This dragon is not property," he said quietly, but firmly. "It is alive, it is aware, and it has a right to choose." The commanders opened their mouths to argue, but the dragon let out a low rumble, deep and resonant, a sound that shook the metal floor. The soldiers froze. Even the toughest among them hesitated. They had never heard a dragon vocalize with such clarity, such strength. The dragon stepped closer to the human. Its trust was absolute. Its eyes never left him. The human gently touched its wings. "You're safe now," he whispered. The dragon nudged him in return. Its tail swished in excitement. Its wings flexed again, ready to fly at any moment, but it stayed beside him, choosing him over all else. The workers began to murmur. Some approached cautiously, seeing the bond between human and dragon. It was unlike anything they had ever witnessed. "This is incredible," one said. "Yes," another replied. "The human, he's not just clever, he's kind, and the dragon, it knows it." Outside the hatchery, news of the dragon's awakening began to spread. Alerts were sent through the facility, to the empire, to every nearby station. Everyone wanted to see the dragon, the useless dragon that could now fly and think and choose for itself. The human stayed with it, patient, calm, protective. He let the dragon move, explore, and test its new sight. He did not force it. He did not command it. He simply stayed, and the dragon stayed with him in return. By the end of the day, it was clear to everyone this dragon would not be controlled by force. Its loyalty belonged to one person, and one person only. The empire could demand it, threaten it, or offer rewards, but the dragon had already made its choice, and that choice was human. The small, broken dragon that everyone had abandoned had grown, not just in strength, but in spirit, not just in sight, but in understanding. It had learned trust, love, and loyalty, the things no empire could teach it. The human knelt, looking into the dragon's eyes. He whispered softly, "You're ready, ready for anything." The dragon nudged him in return. Its wings twitched. Its claws dug into the floor, steady and sure. It was ready. Together, human and dragon stood in the middle of the hatchery, two beings once underestimated and abandoned, two beings that had defied expectation, two beings ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them next. And for the first time, the human realized something profound. Strength is not just measured in power. It is measured in trust, in courage, in patience, and in kindness. The dragon had taught him this lesson without words, and now the galaxy would learn it too.
News of the blind dragon who could now see spread faster than any fleet could travel. It moved through the galaxies like a spark in the dark. Messages traveled between stations. Hollow communications flickered with images of the small dragon, once weak and abandoned, now flying with strength and grace beside a human. Empires were shocked. Commanders and generals stared at the reports. Scientists scratched their heads in disbelief. Soldiers whispered in fear and awe. "How did he do it?" one commander demanded. "Why would a human care for something useless?" another asked. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as clever, adaptable, and courageous. They could survive harsh planets, hostile environments, and deadly alien creatures. They could invent machines no other species could, solve problems no one else could. But even they were not expected to do something like this. To most, it seemed impossible. A human helping a blind dragon. A human giving hope to something everyone else had abandoned. The answer, however, was simple. Humans do not see useless. Humans see potential. The human had looked into the dragon's eyes, and instead of seeing weakness, he saw life. Instead of seeing damage, he saw possibility. Instead of seeing fear, he saw courage waiting to grow. He didn't care what the Empire thought. He didn't care about glory, rank, or power. All he cared about was helping a creature that had no one else. And in doing so, he had changed the galaxy's understanding of humans. The dragon grew quickly, not only in size, but in strength, intelligence, and grace. The glasses the human had designed became part of the dragon, a symbol of hope and ingenuity. Its wings were powerful, its fire strong, its senses sharp. But the true strength of the dragon was not in its claws or wings. It was in trust. Trust in the human. Everywhere they went, the dragon followed him, not because it had to, not because it was commanded, but because it wanted to. Every step, every flight, every roar was a choice, and it always chose to stay by the human's side. This amazed everyone who saw it. The dragon, one of the deadliest beings in the galaxy, follows a human? One soldier whispered in disbelief. "Yes," another replied, "and it doesn't listen to anyone else, only him." The human didn't seek fame or recognition. He didn't fight battles with the dragon. He didn't command armies or conquer planets. He simply walked with it, studied it, and cared for it. That was enough. But even without seeking it, recognition found him. Reports came from distant systems. Aliens and humans alike began to notice. Stories were told in spaceports. Scholars wrote of it. Children whispered the tale in classrooms. A blind dragon given sight by a human. A dragon that had been abandoned but now soared fearless beside someone who believed in it. The galaxy began to ask a new question. What made humans different? It was not strength. Many species were stronger. Dragons themselves were stronger in raw power than any human could hope to be. It was not speed. Many species could move faster, think faster, and react faster. It was not intelligence. There were alien species whose minds were sharper, whose memory was greater, whose understanding of the universe far exceeded human knowledge. Yet humans could do something others could not. They could care. They could hope. They could see value where no one else did. And they never gave up. Even when a creature was weak, broken, abandoned, or considered useless, a human could choose to help. A human could choose to believe. And sometimes that choice was all that was needed to change the universe. The dragon's rise became a symbol of this. Once ignored, it now commanded attention wherever it flew. Once weak, it now inspired fear and respect.
Once abandoned, it now showed loyalty and love. It could have belonged to anyone, commanders, emperors, soldiers, or scientists, but it belonged to the human, not because of force, not because of orders, but because of trust. And the human never asked for power in return. He never demanded obedience. He never sought to control. He simply cared. And that simple act had changed the dragon and, in turn, changed the galaxy's view of humans. Many tried to replicate it. Empires sent their best scientists, engineers, and trainers to replicate what the human had done. They failed. They had machines, they had knowledge, they had resources, but they lacked patience, they lacked understanding, they lacked empathy. You cannot force trust, you cannot engineer care, you cannot program belief. The human had none of these in a lab. He had them in his heart, and that made all the difference. The dragon grew large and strong. Its wings could create storms. Its fire could melt stone. Its roar could shake the stars. But it never left the human. Together, they explored planets, studied distant stars, and discovered strange new species. Everywhere they went, humans and dragons watched, learned, and helped. When other species faced creatures abandoned by others, humans would step in. When someone gave up, humans continued. When hope seemed lost, humans found it. This small act of kindness, giving sight to a dragon, became the seed of change for an entire galaxy, because it reminded everyone of something simple yet profound. Humans do not give up on the forgotten. Humans do not abandon the weak. Humans see potential where no one else did. One day, a reporter asked the human why he had helped the dragon. He looked at the dragon beside him, its eyes shining, its wings twitching in quiet joy, its trust unwavering. He smiled. "Because no one else did," he said simply. And in that moment, the galaxy understood. It wasn't the human's strength that mattered. It wasn't the human's intelligence or speed. It was his heart. It was his courage to care. It was his refusal to leave someone behind. And that day, every species learned something new. Humans are not the strongest. Humans are not the fastest. Humans are not the most advanced. But humans are the ones who never give up on the forgotten. And sometimes that is the most powerful strength of all. The dragon roared, flying above the human as he walked across the open fields of a distant planet. Its wings stretched wide, casting shadows that danced in the sunlight. The human looked up and smiled. Together they were unstoppable. Not because of weapons, not because of technology, not because of raw power, but because of trust, because of hope, because of a bond that no empire, no army, no force in the galaxy could ever break. And in that bond, the galaxy saw something it had never seen before, the true strength of humans. And it was beautiful.